Hi, my name's Jan and I'm a member of the Still Lively group that meets every Wednesday at Wolverhampton Art Gallery, led by teacher and inspiration Sam Hale. This was a challenge that she set for us where we were going to attempt to make drawings with a sense of weight, volume and drama, but using small objects like I've chosen to use potatoes, but thinking how they would work if we were drawing giant boulders in a landscape, something like Stonehenge. This is how I went about it. I started by laying a ground to get the mid-tones. This is powdered graphite. You can buy this on Amazon or any good art shop. And if you just rub this into the paper, this gives just a good covering for a medium tone. So when that's just covered your paper, then we set about just doing the outlines of the potato, just laying in where they're positioned on our paper and remembering what our object is, to make these small potatoes look massive, like a monumental structure. So that I'm covering my whole page, making them look huge, and I've positioned them, as you can see, so that I'm looking up at them, just to add to that idea of weight and volume. You'll also notice that we were told to put contour lines around the potatoes just to emphasise their structure and their roundness, and to give us an idea of their of making them look large, like huge boulders. So that's what I'm doing now, just putting in the contour lines. Then you can just add weight to that line, just to make your lines a bit more interesting. You don't want all your lines to be of a similar weight. After we've laid down our structure and our contour lines, we go in with a dark pencil. This is a 6B, quite a thick, heavy pencil, so that I can put in my darkest darks. I'll go around the border of those darks, mapping those out now. And then after I've put the edges of those darks, just go in and following those contours, making those big boulder potatoes, showing the darks, the shadows, and really going in there and making those dark. So you get a feeling of the weight and the drama of that potato. Keep in mind always that objective, that we were set to make these look monumental and dramatic. go back and put another layer over those deep shadows, giving a 3D feel to this, what is a 2D image. Again, I need some more weight to those lines, especially where those darks are. Make the lines even darker. It all adds weight. You begin to identify the little knobs and eyes on the potato, so put those in as you feel your way around the object. And then I've lost some of those lines, so I'm just going back in and making those lines a bit more obvious. Again, bringing out some of those eyes and little dents. And emphasising some of those lines where the potatoes overlap, just to add some more interest to the drawing. Now we come to the highlights. So this is just a putty rubber that you can mould into any shape. So I'm putting it, just making not a too sharp point, but just something that I can use more or less as a pencil, just as a tool to lift out some of those mid-tones of the powdered graphite that I put in first. You can see those highlights quite clearly on the potato because of the lighting that I've got just pointing up, and with the light source quite close to the potato, just to make those highlights brighter and just add to the drama. Now I'm going back and making some of those darks really, really dark. Just put the potatoes on a ground so they don't look as if they're floating in space, and making them look more monumental. Trying to make those potatoes look more like boulders. And now to make those darks even darker, I've got a blending stump that I'm just pushing that graphite into the tooth of the paper. And as you can see, that's making the darks even darker and smoothing out some of the lines. And just putting some darks into the background, just so that it makes that a little bit more interesting, so it's just not one uniform shade that could seem a little boring. And just blend in a bit of those darks into the mid-tones, just to soften those edges a little bit. not too much because we want them to be boulders. Going back and just cleaning up, putting some more highlights in. And then just an electric eraser there just to put some very bright highlights. Not overdoing it at this stage, but just a little highlight here and there. A little bit more blending, a little bit more tidying up. And you can just keep doing that until you're happy with the drawing. Add in a little highlight around the top of the potato just to draw your eye to that space. And that's it, a monumental potatoes.